Hey Pixies, so today we're going to use some Glitzy Dip products. My peel base worked a little too good on this thumb. I jammed it on something and the dip powder came off. It didn't break the tip luckily, but these ones are looking a little rough because they have been on now 2 weeks and they're still going strong, so we're just gonna use them as long as we can. So I am going to be using the Glitzy Dip liquids. I have the bottles open so I can't show you real good, but we're going to be using those. We're going to be using French Pink. Let me try to see. It's hard with the ring light sometimes to show you the color. And Ice Baby, which is a fine silver glitter. And this is what we're going to attempt to do. So I already have peel base on, nails are prepped, peel base is dry. I'm going to start, now their top coat and base coat are the same bottle. So this says top coat, but it's also their base coat. So I am going to start by applying the dip base to my entire nail. I just kind of want to do, I think, I might do this as a real-time dip with me, so it might be kind of long just to show you a full manicure start to finish. So it depends on how long it goes, but that's kind of my plan. So I am going to clean up the cuticle area. And this base, as I said in another video, is slower drying. That's just some peel base there, so get that off. And the Glitzy Dip base is a little slower drying, which it's one of the only slower drying bases that I have, so I kind of like that I have it because it is good to have at least one slower drying base for when you're doing little designs and stuff. So we're gonna let that go. It, like I said, it dries a little slow, so I'm just going to do one dip on each finger, pouring over. These tips are a little stained with previous dips, and peel base kind of gets under. It makes it look cloudy, but you can't tell from underneath, and you can't tell once I have the dip powder on, so it's all good. It doesn't bother me. I am going to do this, like I said, on each of the nails, just pour over, and once I'm done with that, I'll be back. I don't know if I'll be speeding anything up because I kind of want it to be a real-time dip with me, but it'll depend on time. I also don't want to post like a 40-minute video for you guys unless you want me to. And if you do, ask, but I will be back in just a minute whenever I start my second layer. Actually, before I just let you go, a little tip, I flooded my cuticle just slightly. If you notice that you flood your cuticle, just do your dip and then immediately clean up that powder, because if you try to move it without anything on it, it will just kind of smear around. But once you get the dip powder on it, you can kind of scrape it right off. I got most of it off, a little bit dried right there, so we'll have to clean that up, but not a huge deal. We'll get that off. So yeah, it's best if you notice that you flooded your cuticles just to dip and then immediately clean it up, because you will get it off much easier. And since I'm already about to start the second dip, I might as well just stay on here with you guys. This is called French Pink, and it's got a little shimmer to it. I don't usually see the French colors with shimmer, so I kind of like it. I don't know how much I would like it as a French color. As far as, I think I would want it to be solid, but it's really pretty. I do have a link for Glitzy down below and a discount code. So if you're interested, I have a ton of their powders and I really, really like them. And if you need a slower drying base, then you should definitely look into them because I've been using them for a while and they're good. So now I am going to do a second dip, and this time I am going to lay my finger into the powder. So I'm going to do that on each of the nails. If I think of anything else, I'll come back on, but we're just going to do that quick second dip and lay our finger right into it. Don't push the whole way through, just lay it right in and clean up your cuticle. So I'm going to do that on each of the fingers, and I'll be back to start our silver glitter ombre. Okay, so when the powder is as fine as this, with that slower drying base, since it was still pretty wet, sometimes I will just do one quick lay-in to soak up the extra base. And it's such a thin dip that that's 2 dips plus I laid into it an extra time when the base was still wet. So I'm just gonna give that a second. That's a really pretty color. This would actually be a really fun nude kind of color to use. So I am putting this away because we are done with it. So we are dry. I am going to dust off. Make sure I really get in there, get all of the excess powder off before we move on. There we go. And we're going to put that away so we don't get any glitter in it. These are 1 ounce jars. That's all they sell. They don't sell anything smaller than 1 ounce, but I love their packaging and everything's always really nice. I haven't had one of their powders, and I have about 40 or so powders of theirs now. I haven't had one that I didn't like. So if you're interested, check them out. Okay, so we're looking good. I already have a little eyeshadow brush here. It's a Wet n Wild brush from Amazon. I am going to start with my pinky, and I'm just going to apply the base to the entire nail. And then I am going to pick up some of that silver glitter, and I'm going to start at the edge and really focus. I want most of it to be there, and then just I'm tapping lighter and lighter the further I get down, and then you can also angle your finger a little bit. Up, down, like if I want more there, then I'll just focus right there, angle it down. If I want more to fall, then just angle your finger slightly up. I have videos with chunky glitters doing ombre, but I don't know that I ever filmed a finer glitter. Now, since this is a slower drying base, if you want to move some around, you can do that. If you got some a little lower than what you wanted, you can do that. I think it's sometimes hard to tell with the ring light. Sometimes I'll think it looks good, and then I get it out in the light and it's not so good. Like, something about it usually just bothers me, but I think we're good with that. So I am going to be repeating those steps, just applying the base. I'll explain it on this finger too, and then I will cut to music and come back if I have anything else to tell you. For some reason my finger's super itchy. Not because of the powders, I didn't get any product there. So I am focusing it, holding my finger pretty much straight out because I want the bulk of that glitter to be right there. And then if you can see the tapping, I'm doing it slower and slower, and there's not as much on. I am going to pick up more and really saturate the tip there on the sides. Sometimes I forget about the sides. Don't forget about the sides. They need love too. So I'm going to pick that up. Now I'm angling my finger slightly up like that so that we can get more of that product to kind of trickle. You want it to look like it just naturally fell and faded out. So I just move it to wherever I need it to be and hope for the best. No, I'm just kidding. So you also, this is actually still a little wet, so you just want to tap it down as well, especially if you're using chunky glitters, but this is fine and it's a slow drying base, so we're still good. So I'm going to repeat that on the other 3 fingers and I'll be back. So what I'm doing right now is I noticed I had a little bit of a line where it was kind of a harsh cut of where my glitter stopped being so concentrated. So I just went in and tapped right across the area where it was sparse. I didn't put any more at the tip. I just went right across that midsection between where it's real faint and where it's real thick, and just tapped going back and forth like that. And I love using cupcake liners because you can pour it right back in and you don't waste any product. Okay, I'm actually gonna keep that open to dust off, but I need a minute or two because the base is still a little wet, which is good because I had to fix some of that glitter. So I'm cool with that. So give me just a minute. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm literally just going to wait for that base to finish drying for a minute or two, and I'll be back on and we will clear coat. Okay, so it's still a little wet down at the bottom, so I am just going to very carefully, this is dry up here because that didn't get any product on it because I was just focusing the glitter up here, which it dries a lot slower then. So I'm just dusting off the tips here where I know it's dry. Okay, that's what we're looking like here. And I am going to fold this over so I have the least amount of contamination with my clear as possible. I only have one glitzy clear and I already have glitter on there, so probably from my brush. All right, glitzy clear. Cupcake liner and dip base. So what you do is just apply your dip base to the entire nail. Since this is your top coat too, even when it is dry, it doesn't dry matte like other top coats. It dries a little shiny because it's your top coat too. And don't get scared about that. It's a good clear. I've used it many times before, so it's all good. Clean up your cuticle area. You don't want any of that clear drying on your cuticles. So I'm going to do this and finish up the clear, and then we'll activate. Okay, and this is why I recommend having a separate clear for solid and glitter. I probably got some glitter in there, but it's the only one I have. I don't have two from Glitzy, so that's okay. I am not going to dust off over this though, because when I dust off, most likely some of the glitter may come off as well. So that is dry. See? Not scary looking anymore. Just make sure you give it a really good dusting before you activate, because the activator, if you don't dust off well, will kind of harden and soak that excess powder right into your nail, and then your glitter might not look as clear. So I'm really going in hard on it, and we're going to activate. So I have the Glitzy activator. Apply a good coat. I usually do 2 coats, so I'm gonna do 2 coats, and I do 2 just so I know I didn't miss anything, because this is what will harden everything and make it set so that you can buff and file without damaging anything. So I just do 2 dips with the brush to get it nice and saturated. That way I know I didn't miss any spots. So I really coat it. You don't have to worry about getting it on your skin unless you have some kind of allergy or something. Other than that, you should be okay. It doesn't harden on your skin, it just hardens and works with the other products. So we'll put that away for right now. I haven't used dip liquids much lately because of my allergies, and I feel like I'm going to be sneezing tomorrow. So while that dries, we're going to let that dry for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to buff, file, and reshape depending on the length of the video. I may or may not include that, but if I don't, I do have a filing video that shows you exactly how I do that. So I am going to show you the filing on this finger because I do have a filing video, but I kind of wanted this to be a start to finish type video. So I use the end to kind of carve out. You can touch your skin with it. I do not hold it there. I kind of do like short bursts with it, but it's not hurting my skin, as you can see. And I run that along. There's a little bit of excess product right there, and I start to kind of clean all of that up, and then I go in with the hand file. So then I just kind of run it along the entire nail. These powders go on super smooth, so I kind of look at it from this side and make sure there's no bumps anywhere. So I look at it from the side, get rid of any of those bumps. And then I just take a little off the tip there. And then I even look at it from this direction to see if the sidewalls need thinned out at all. Right along here, which they're pretty good with this one. Then I take my nail file, this one's really beat up right now, and I take the rougher side, the coarse side, and I go right along. Like I said, I had some extra products built up right there, so I'm just going to file that down and then reshape the nail. Dip powder fills in your nail and you lose some of your shape, so I am just going to reshape all of that, and then I use the fine side to give it a good little buffing. So I am going to do that on each of my nails. Okay, so when you're done buffing, filing, reshaping, all that fun stuff, I just kind of wipe my hand off first. This is an alcohol prep pad. And then I clean up each of the nails, really get in the sides, and get all of that filing dust off, because you do not want to activate that into the nail for the same reason that you don't want to activate the clear into your nail. We are ready to activate and top coat. Glitzy activator. Apply another good coat. I usually do it twice again, just to make sure, especially with the nail tips that are a lot longer than my regular nails, that I'm getting used to them, because I've had them for quite a while now, about 2 months or so, but still I like to hit it twice just to be sure. Then you wait about 1 minute and let it harden and set. Okay, activator has been on a minute or so. I move to a different spot on the paper towel as I wipe it, so I'm not putting any other activator back on, and I'm going to just go over each one twice just to be sure. I'm going to set that there because as I'm top coating, I'm going to want to wipe my brush off. So this is our base coat and top coat. I'm going to do as few brush strokes as possible per nail. I really like the Glitzy brush because it really fans out nice. So just make sure you wipe off your brush so you're not contaminating your liquids that can actually harden them, or your brush. So just make sure you're wiping it off. Wait about a minute or so. It will start to look matte and crinkly, and then we do our second layer. Okay, second layer of top coat, more detailed. If you want longevity with your manicure, I suggest you cap your free end, meaning you swipe lightly with very little product right across the edge. I usually only keep my manicures for a couple of days, so I typically do not do that, and they're fine. If you don't, you could experience lifting or chipping at the edge. So if you're looking for wearing it for more than a few days to a week, you definitely want to make sure you're capping your free ends, or if you have a job where you use your hands a lot. All right, we're dry. Cuticle oil, as usual. And while I do that, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps to show YouTube that you like it, and they will recommend it to more people, which helps me out. If you would like to see more videos, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. I have new videos every Monday and Thursday. If you have any questions, leave a comment below or find me on Instagram at Dipping Pixie. I also have a TikTok, which is Dipping Pixie, and they will both be linked below as well, along with discount codes. And my cat is sneezing. So that's it for this one, guys, and I will see you in the next one.